Hello and welcome to Bruce Springsteen Guitar Lessons. Hope you're all staying safe and well during these crazy times. So today's Bruce's lesson is going to be Two for the Road from Tracks. Also I think this is a B-side as well from Tunnel of Love. Be sure to follow the end of the video just in case I go through any parts that aren't in the walkthrough. So what I'll do now is play the whole song through and you'll see tab appear on the screen, and then I'll come back and go through all the individual parts. See you in a bit. Hello and welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that walkthrough. So now what we're going to do is go through all the individual parts. Okay, so the song is in the key of G major, and we've got a lot of basic kind of open chords that we're going to use for this one. So you've got G major. Again, Bruce tends to play it with his second, third and fourth fingers, and often you're not actually needing your middle finger because he's not actually picking the A string. Okay, so it's G major, so second, third and fourth, but again you can just play it with your third and fourth and then make sure you block out the A string. Cool, and then we've got E minor. Now it sounds like with this E minor, what he's doing is playing an E minor, a normal E minor with the second and third fingers on the A and the D string, second fret, and then he's adding his little finger, you can quite hear that on the record, on the third fret of the E string. That's the E minor shape, okay? And then we've also got a C add 9 chord. Really nice chord, Bruce uses this a lot. And you're gonna basically go in terms of frets, you're going 3, 2, 0, 3, 0. And your third finger's on the third fret of the A string, middle finger on the second fret of the D, and then little finger on the third fret of the B. And what that also does, again, you can see Bruce does this kind of these chord voicings a lot, is it means he can play his D sus2 chord, which is the next one, and just simply move his middle finger from the D string to the G string. So the D sus2 is actually going to play with his middle and fourth fingers. So in terms of frets, you're going 0, 2, 3, 0, and then middle finger, second fret G, little finger, third fret B. Okay, so it's G, E minor, G, E minor, C add 9, D sus2, and you also got a D as well. The normal D chords are 0, 2, 3, 2. Again, sometimes he'll play it with his like that, or sometimes he'll play it with his second, third and fourth fingers. And then you've also got, I think he's playing this normal C chord underneath the guitar solo. Okay, but then he's also putting his little finger on as well. So in terms of frets for this normal kind of C chord, you've got 3, 2, 0, 1, 3. I think that's what he's doing. Okay, so what we're going to do first is, so that's the chords. Let's just go through the main sort of verse sections. What I'm also going to do is put the song structure up on the screen now. Again, so you can see that the first verse, second verse and third verse are the same. And then it's just, yeah, all the other sections as well. So hopefully that might help. The song structure will be in the description as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to kind of go through the picking pattern that I think he's doing. So you've got G major first. Again, alternate picking, and these are all quavers. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and quavers, or eighth notes. So half a beat each. So what you've got, I think he's playing the low E string first, then the D string, and then the G string, then the E, then the B, then the G, then the D, and then the G. So it goes like this. E, D, G, E, B, G, D, G. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Again, alternate picking, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so E, D, G, E, B, G, D, G. Okay, so that's the G major, and then the E minor. Again, leave your little finger there. You're going to do the same picking pattern basically. So you're not actually hitting the second fret A string, but I kind of just do it as a matter of habit really. So the E string, the D, the G, then the E, B, G, D, G. Okay, so that's the E minor. Then goes back to the G and does this. And then C add 9. Now the C add 9 is a slightly different picking pattern. You're going to go A, D, G, E, B, G, D, and then the B at the end. I think he's hitting that note, so I'll do that bit again for the C add 9. So all these picking patterns I don't think change. He will change it occasionally, and if you played it live he'd change it up all the time. So you've got C add 9 again, so A, D, G, E, B, G, D, and then the B at the end. So you've got 2 bars of that. Then D sus2, so again just take your third finger off, middle finger from the D string to the G string. Again, same kind of pattern, but you're going to pick from the D string this time. So D, G, B, E, B, G, D, then B. And 2 bars of that. And then back to your G chord. Again, you might be playing occasionally slightly different, but that's the main gist of it, and I think that's pretty close. So this is an 8-bar phrase that you're going to do for the first verse, second verse, and then the third verse. Okay, so what we've got: G, E minor, G, C add 9, C add 9, D sus2, D sus2. Then G. Okay, so what we're going to do now is take a look at the chords in the chorus section. Okay, so what we've got is 3 bars of C add 9. Then G. For 2 bars, and then back to D, and D sus2 for 2 bars. Okay, so it's C add 9 for 3 bars, 2 bars of G, 2 bars of D sus2, and then 1 bar of G. Okay, so let's now take a look at the chords underneath the guitar solo. So what we've got is G major, E minor, G, and I think he's doing this version of C. Again, so it's like a normal C chord with a little finger on the 3rd fret of the E. That's the picking pattern. A, D, G, E, B, G, D, G. Okay, so it's 2 bars of kind of normal C underneath the guitar solo, and then 2 bars of normal D instead of the D sus2, and then 1 bar of G. Okay, so let's take a look at those 8 bars then. Again, I'll play them all the way through in the guitar solo. So you've got G, E minor, G, normal C, C, 2 bars of D, and then G. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go through the structure of the outro section. So basically think of the outro section in 3 parts. The first part is just simply the last 4 bars of any of the verse sections, which is this: C add 9, D sus2, and again, and then G. And then think of the next 2 sections as just simply 2 more verses, again no singing, but the chords are the same. The first one you play a D, and then the second one there's a D sus2, okay? So what I'll do is play the whole of the outro section. So C add 9, D sus2, and again, G, G, E minor, G, C add 9, C add 9, D, D, and then G. Then G, E minor, G, C add 9, C add 9, D sus2, D sus2, and G. And that G kind of gives that kind of last kind of part of the outro kind of fades out on record. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take a look at some of the electric parts. Now throughout this song, starting mainly from the second verse, what you've got is you've got various kind of electric parts that are kind of like picking and kind of adding some depth and sort of variations to the sound. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at the second verse. This is what I think is roughly happening. It sounds like he's doing a D shape, a G chord, and kind of arpeggiating it. So it's kind of this. You're not strumming it like that, you're kind of doing each individual string you can hear clearly. So he does that over the first 2 bars after the first bar of G, and then that rings out, and then you're resting over the E minor, and then you're doing that G chord again. Okay, now in bar 4, when the C add 9 comes in of this second verse, it sounds like he's playing this chord, which I think sounds awesome. Okay, so it's like a D7 sus4, fret-wise 7, 8, 8, 7 on the G, 8 on the B, 8 on the E. So you're going, again, arpeggiating it, nice smooth strum through the strings. So 1, 2, 3, and then and 4 and. On the, just picking the E, the B, and the G strings. And he's doing this sort of thing throughout the rest of the song. It's quite hard to hear exactly what he's doing in terms of the picking, but again, it adds some sort of depth. Okay, so I'll just go through what we've just done so far. So this is the guitar that I think comes in on the second verse. Again, so you've got like a D shape G major chord, so fret-wise again, 5, 7, 8, 7. And basically you've got this D shape here, but with a root note is the G. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then it's tied into the next bar, and you've got that picking bit, I think is doing that again, that 8, 8, 7 bit on the end of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th bar. Okay, and I think he's doing something like this, which is kind of this D sus4 chord to a D chord. Again, it's just on 3 strings, so it's not your usual chord voicing. So this D sus4, I think, is going 7 on the G, 8 on the B, and then 5 on the E. Again, he might be playing it somewhere else. It sounds pretty close. So again, this is a dotted crotchet or quarter notes. It lasts for 1.5 beats. So it's 1, 2, and then 7, 7, 7, which is again on the G and the B and the E strings. 7 on the G, 7 on the B, and then 5 on the E. Okay, so that's the D sus4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Again, lots of faint little picking of the chords for the rest of the song as well. So let me go through that kind of second verse, what I think is happening here. So, okay, so the G major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4. Again, it just adds some depth to it. I think it sounds really cool. So another little thing is, in some of the parts you think, oh, he's actually playing a D chord, in the actual track, but actually the acoustics carry on sometimes with the D sus2. For example, in the chorus and bars, where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So the acoustic carries on playing this kind of the D sus2. And then the electric seems to be playing a D over the top of it, which sounds quite cool. So kind of picking a... And the combination of them sounds really cool. So that happens throughout the song as well. And then for the rest of it, really what's happening is kind of just improvising and picking various notes to add some layers to the kind of acoustic and complement the acoustic. So again, when I was recording this, I was kind of just improvising. Let's just say the third verse, you know, kind of do a G chord, and just improvise. Picking various notes in time and just complementing the acoustics. I think that's roughly what's happening there. Cool, so I think that's pretty much everything. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Any comments, suggestions, feel free to let me know in the comments section. Give this a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're looking to get backing tracks, PDFs and tabs, for example, Guitar Pro tabs, things like that, head over to Patreon and sign up there. And hope you're all keeping safe and well, and I will see you next week. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers, bye.